This episode had its good and bad points, but on a whole, was okay. The good points was how they showed more character development in team members like Zoe and what hobbies she had, particularly in surfing, and how she seriously took into getting into character. As far as Mike's concerned, I think Sarah has competition now. Speaking of which, more of Mike's past is opened up as the opposing surfer recognized him from his military days in Iraq. I like this trend that they're going with through each episode, where just a little bit more is revealed each week and Knight is learning more and more of what he cannot remember. The good points were with making a respectful nod to the original series, with Torres giving Mike and Zoe their cover names as Devon and Bonnie, whom fans will remember from the original series. Devon Miles, the director of the Foundation for Law and Government after the sad passing of Wilton Knight, and Dr. Bonnie Barstow, the Knight Industries 2000, or the original Kit to you and me, as his original cybernetic mechanical technician. What I didn't like was how they made it a 4-player mission with Sarah and Billy joining. As for me, that completely spoilt the episode by having it turn into more like Team Knight Rider. Now come on. The idea failed once before, and yet they were using that motif again. Please, it didn't work in '97, it doesn't work now. And seriously, what was up with Kit being able to move underwater? Did the producers really have to copy the Lotus sub from 1977's The Spy Who Loved Me? Especially with Kit being able to, coming out of the water onto the sand. While it looks cool, I don't think so. It just didn't seem practical. It was one thing for Kit Classic to be on hydrofoils in Season 2 of the original Knight Riders, Return to Cadiz, but this was really pushing the envelope in terms of how far the ridiculous bar could be pushed. Granted, some of the stuff they did back in the 80s was considered ridiculous, but now, I think the original one is starting to look a little bit more plausible than what they came up with in this episode. Now, it pains me to say that as a fan, but that was just not a good move for this one. Another point I'm not completely happy with was how Kit was not getting as much attention as in the previous episodes. Sure, he chipped in a few good lines, but his dialogue was much less than before. A somewhat comic relief at the start and end of the episode, with Billy and Mike having Super Soaker fights in the Kit Cave. And this is a nice touch because it shows that, even the, Knight Industries team have a sense of humour. And did Billy really have to mention that as the proper name? Zoe managed to blurt out another internet term, epic. What's next? She manages to say later, "You got Kit rolled?" Maybe it's best not to give them ideas. Oh dear. This was not a bad episode, but it could have been better. Until issue 26, good night from the Knight.